Hi everyone. My name is Tatiana, and I would like to talk to you all about um, why I decided to get into naturopathic medicine. So, there is a little bit of a backstory, but I'm not going to get into it too much so I don't bore you all. So, basically, I've always felt like um, naturopathic medicine can go hand in hand with traditional medicine. I've never been like that kind of person who thinks like, oh, it's either just traditional or it's just naturopathic. I don't believe that because there are so many different kinds of conditions and problems that can be resolved either or sometimes in combination with both remedies. Um, so the reason why I personally decided to take interest is because I have a lot of my own issues. So, for example, I have a lot of. I'm pretty sure it was like maybe my early 20s. I started developing adult acne, which I never really had acne growing up. Like, even in my teenage years, maybe I would get like one or two pimples, but my face was pretty good. Um, Sorry, it's just a little windy. Um, and then I just suddenly, out of nowhere, I remember going on vacation with my husband, and out of nowhere on that vacation, I started to break out, and it started on my left side. Like literally on my left cheek, it started to develop cystic, like deep acne, and it came out of nowhere within the short time frame that we were on vacation. I'm not sure if it's just because I had a hormonal like imbalance at that time. I'm not sure if um, the hormones plus the fact that we were not eating healthy on the vacation, is at the end of the day it's a vacation. You're just enjoying yourself, right? You're there to relax and not like stress about life. And I'm not sure if it's a combination of those two things, or maybe I was stressed prior to the vacation, as this was a few years ago. I don't really remember. Sorry, it's very windy. I just know that we did not eat very healthy on the vacation because we were just having a good old time eating out, trying new foods, and then also we were just eating like junk food. When I say junk food, I mean like some candies or something like that when we would watch like a movie. But again, it was mostly like in that period where we were on vacation. And after that, I tried multiple things. Like it was very aggressive, the acne. I tried so many different things, and nothing was really working for me. Um, at some point, I decided to like try an antihistamine for allergies. For some reason, I don't know why. I just had the idea. I'm like, you know what, doesn't hurt to try. And it seemed to have helped like the inflammation. So it may have been that I had a histamine problem combined with a hormonal imbalance in combination with my gut. Um, so I would take like antihistamines for a while. Obviously, it didn't really like get rid of the root cause. It was just like covering the symptoms or the inflammation, so my face wouldn't get as inflamed because they were very painful. Not only did they look terrible, they were also very painful. Like to just move to the touch to anything, it was really sensitive. Um, so I tried like many different things over the years, and so the main reason for me is why I want to study uh, and continue to grow in this field is because I want to find natural ways to like deal with multiple problems. So whether that's acne, whether that's hormonal imbalances, especially women. Don't get me wrong, men have just as many problems, but women have a lot of. Uh, I feel like women have um, hormonal imbalances more often due to just the sudden shifts of hormones throughout a cycle, and also sometimes it can be genetic where um, you're more prone to having these sensitivities. So I also would say that um, my gut has always been sensitive since I was, maybe you could say, since I was born, really. I've always had a sensitive gut, so I was born prematurely. I think like a month early than I was supposed to be born. And I believe because I was premature, I had like colic or whatever symptoms. I was just constantly crying as a baby, constantly in discomfort. Like it was very difficult to soothe me. This is according to obviously my mom's words. I don't remember that. But even growing up, I remember I lived in multiple countries growing up. So I grew up. First, I was born in Moldova. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, that's in between Romania and Ukraine. It's a small country. I was born there, but my mom ended up moving to Dubai. She found um, a job there, and she was able to take me and my brother to Dubai. And there she also met my dad, which technically he's my stepfather, but I consider him my father because he raised me and my brother. So we moved there when I think I was like 3 or something. I don't really remember because again I was really small. This is based off of what I was told. So we moved there, um, and then we lived there for a couple of years. I think when I was like 9 or 10, we moved to Kenya, which is in Africa. We moved there because my stepfather is from there, and he decided he was tired of Dubai, and he was like, "Okay, let's go to Kenya." So obviously, as a family, we all went. Oh my gosh, my hair! As a family, we all went there, and honestly, I don't remember that much from Dubai because I was so little, but I do remember a lot from Kenya. And I do know that for a lot of my life, the reason I'm telling you this backstory is a lot of my life, especially in Kenya, I had like this chronic cough. I would cough constantly. And we went to multiple doctors, and a lot of the doctors were like, "Oh, your airways are fine. You don't have anything." At some point, at some point, my stepdad was telling me that maybe I was like, not that I was faking it. He wasn't saying that I was faking it, but like, he was like implying that like maybe I got accustomed to coughing so much that it was like, it was just something I was used to doing. And obviously that was not true. It was a chronic cough that I just couldn't control. I to this day remember what it felt like. It was like a tingling sensation in my chest going up to my pipes. And it's something that when it like irritates, you can't control yourself. You're gonna cough, you know? Um, I would have this chronic cough. What else would I have? Generally speaking, because it was a hot country, we didn't really get sick very often with like the flus or anything like that. But I did have a few like stomach bugs, which again could be that I had a weak stomach. Um, Fast forward, we moved back to Moldova when I was like 15, I would say, um, due to some financial issues. So we moved back to Moldova so that I could finish school with my brother since we were having some struggles. Uh, within my family, and in Moldova, at least the schooling is for free if you're a Moldovan citizen, and that way I was able to get an education. Um, so we moved back, and as soon as I moved back, I'm not sure if it was the change of the temperature because, like I said, I grew up in hot countries, Dubai, and then Kenya, most of my life at that point. And then in Moldova, there's winters, there's seasonal, there's seasons, there's uh, there's summer, there's autumn, there's winter, obviously, and there's spring. So it was constantly changing, and I feel like that affected my stomach and my overall well being as well. Um, so when we got to Moldova, I started going to school, everything was great, and then I started developing worse symptoms. Like my stomach was really, really bothering me. I remember at some point I was at school and I just started like vomiting. I was feeling really sick. I thought like I had worms or something because like I remember my cat had similar symptoms. I know that sounds ridiculous, but we got a kitten and he was a stray kitten. So I thought like, because every time I would smell food, I would get nauseous and then like it would make me want to puke. So I'm like, okay. It kind of reminded me of what my cat was doing. I was like, maybe I got worms from him. So my mom got a phone call from the school to come pick me up because I was like literally extremely sick. So we went straight to the not to the hospital, but to our family doctor. And our family doctor wasn't there. There was a different lady at that time. She was an amazing doctor, though. I personally actually preferred her to my family doctor. She was really like on point. So she straight away had a suspicion that I may have had H. pylori um, in my stomach, which is an overgrowth of bacteria that generally lives in your stomach. It's not usually causing a problem, but for some people, there are certain factors that can cause it to overgrow. So I ended up obviously doing multiple tests, like stool samples, a blood test, and I think I even went and I took, I don't know what you call it when you swallow like this tube down your throat and then they take it all the way to your stomach and look at it. And so they diagnosed me with H. pylori. Obviously, I had to take a course of like antibiotics and all of that stuff. And then they also told me that my stomach valve was weak. It wasn't like closing and opening as it needed to. That's why most likely my the acid reflux, everything was going up. So yeah. So that being said, um, as soon as I treated this whatever issues I had, taking antibiotics, taking all of the stuff that I need to do, my chronic cough that I had for years. Like when I say years, I mean years. It just went away. And even for me, that was strange because I was like, um, what is that? Like, when you're so used to having these symptoms or feeling this certain way and then suddenly it's gone, like, it's a good thing, but it still feels very strange. And honestly, it's just like a blessing, honestly. So that's why I believe like both can work hand in hand, both types of medicine, um, depending on what the issue is, of course. So, the whole point of this story is I've had my own life issues. So, I mentioned the acne, I mentioned the stomach issues from way back, and also I've had multiple miscarriages. So, my first miscarriage, I think I was like 2020. I think I was like 20. Then I had another one at like 21. Then I had another one, I think, like at. Was it? I don't even know at this point. I just had like four of them. Anyway, let's just say I've had four. I've had four miscarriages. And as a person who has always dreamed of having children, I think since I think since I was like 15, I've always like dreamed of having a family. That was like my one dream. Um, it was definitely heartbreaking every time it would happen. So the first time, obviously, when you have first miscarriage, it's sad, but at the same time, it's your first, so you don't you don't like lose hope yet because you're like, okay, the first one didn't work out. It's okay. We'll keep trying. We'll keep working. Then you have your second one, and then again, it ends in a miscarriage, and you're just like, okay, that's strange, but it can happen, And then you keep going, but they keep ending in miscarriages. And to this day, I still haven't had um, any like children, which obviously is not the nicest feeling when it's something that you really want. Um, so those are my main motivators to get to know the human body a bit more, to understand hormones, to understand different things that we can do naturally to influence our general health, things I can change in my environment to better my endocrine system, and just much more, really. Like I know there's a lot of things you can do, like eliminate plastics in your environment as much as possible. Eliminate toxins such as like cleaning products. Yeah, obviously, like fruits and vegetables, clean them properly to avoid any like what's the word I'm looking for? Any chemicals. There we go. And there's a lot of things you can do generally. Eating healthier, eating more nutritious foods. Some people have certain foods that trigger them, they need to avoid. Some people just need to learn their bodies a little bit better. Honestly, it's just something that has always intrigued me, and I don't know, I feel like it's just something that I'm meant to do because I'm very passionate about it since I've gone through these problems myself, and I feel like not there are some issues that cannot be treated necessarily by um, conventional medicine. There's so many things within your environment that you need to fix before even taking medicine, because sometimes if you were to take this medication but you didn't change, say, your diet, or you didn't change whatever toxins you're around, it's inevitable to come back. It's gonna go back around. So you take the medicine, it helps you for a little bit. Once you stop, it comes back around. You know, in that sense, I would like to learn how I can help other people as well as help myself. So that's just my goal for now, and I really wanted to share this since I've recently just opened a few accounts on social media just so that I can share my story, so that I can, um, share my progress. Currently, I am studying still, so it's not like, I'm a professional right now, but it is something that I really hope to achieve soon. Hopefully, when I'm done, obviously, I plan to continue studying. So, even if I finish this course that I'm doing currently, I plan to continue taking new courses and learning new things because there's so many things you can learn. That you should always be learning. You shouldn't just stop. You should always try to better. One, even if you're not doing as a profession, you should always try to better your own knowledge. I feel like the more you learn, the better. It's gonna be for you just as a person, not even just for a profession. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening to my rants and my chit chats. I hope everyone has a great day, and I hope that people will follow me, get to know how I'm doing, and you never know, maybe something I learned might help you in the future, or help your family member, or help your friend. Maybe even you have an animal or a pet that you would like to go through the holistic, you know, the natural route. There's a lot of things that a person can learn, and I just want to be there to help people as much as to help myself and my family. All right, peace out, everyone.